नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Last week we have studied the lesson success in Madinah, that is the 10th, 11th and 12th years of prophethood. Now we will study why kuffar did not believe in Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam's call to Islam was accepted by some Makkans who became his Sahaba and served the cause of Allah. Their faith in Islam and dedication to Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam made them undergo severe hardships, but they never gave up Islam. The kuffar, on the other hand, remained confirmed in their false beliefs and continued to work against the cause of Islam. In the next two chapters, we shall study, in the next two lessons, we shall analyze the reasons for the attitude of both these groups. Now first, let us look at the kuffar. See, Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam was well known in Makkah for his righteousness. He was known as Al-Sadiq and Al-Amin. He was supported by the miracle of Quran. Everyone recognized that the Quran was not written by a human being. The teachings of Islam were noble and pure. Still the kuffar opposed Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the Quran says that only those people who want to discover the truth can find it. Allah gives His guidance to those who fear Him and seek guidance from Him. It is mentioned in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 1 to 5. Now, but Allah hardens the hearts of those who rejects the truth and oppose it, and makes them deaf, dumb and blind. It is mentioned in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 7. To truth. Thus in Makkah some people searched for the truth and found it. Most Makkans opposed it and became its worst enemy, and Allah confirmed them in their kufr because of their obstinacy. Now there are some other reasons also that we may discuss here. It is true that Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam's teachings were good for all mankind, but the kuffar feared that it would bring an end of their economic well-being, their free way of life and their superior social status. It was not easy for them to give up the way of life of their ancestors. It guaranteed them benefits and pleasures in this world instead of promises of paradise. In the Quran, we read their answer. When it is said to them, "Come to that which Allah has revealed and to the messenger," they reply, "Enough for us. Is this way of life on which we found our ancestor?" This is mentioned in Surah Maida, ayat number 104. Thus it is always difficult for most people to change when it affects their personal beliefs. Now Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught that Allah is one. The kuffar had many gods and goddesses. Their fathers and grandfathers had worshipped these gods for generations. The kuffar were very attached to them. It was not easy to give up their beliefs in idols, even though some of the kuffar knew that the idols in fact had no power. The kuffar drew economic benefits from their religious beliefs, which they feared they might lose by becoming Muslims. Makkah was the center of Arab religion. Quraysh were in charge of Kaaba. Now, Kaaba had 365 idols. How many? 365 idols. People came from all over Arabia to worship these idols in Kaaba. The Makkans made a lot of money through these pilgrims. If Muhammad succeeds, they thought that would be the end of our money-making religion. The love of wealth and greed for money prevents many people from following the truth. And this was a serious factor in the Meccan refusal to accept Islam. And these were the reasons why kuffars were rejecting Prophet ﷺ, even though they knew that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was Sadiq and Al-Amin, but still they did not want to accept Islam because they were greedy, because they loved the wealth, and they had a lot of greed for money. Now, Islam also challenged their free way of life and invited them to a responsible and righteous life. The Quraysh were smart businessmen to make money by all methods. Fair or foul was their way of life. Thus, cheating in business was very common. They feared that Islamic principles of honesty in business dealing would destroy their wealth. The leaders of Quraysh were also very greedy. Islam's call for social injustice, charity, and human equality was not appreciated by the pleasure-seeking Quraysh. If one of their relatives died and they were to take care of his children or wives, they would steal his wealth. They treated his family as they wished. We have already seen how harsh they were even to their old parents. They had no respect for women. It was a matter of shame to have daughters. So many Arabs killed their daughters to save themselves from embarrassment. There was a lot of slave trading in those days, and slaves were treated like animals. They had no respect and no rights. Believing themselves superior to all other people, the Quraysh thought they could behave as they wished. So they went around gambling, drinking, killing, cheating, and exploiting other people for their own benefits. Now the kuffar never wanted to be responsible to Allah and changed their way of life. In the Meccan period, the central message of Islam was Tawheed, oneness of Allah, and Akhirah, the day of judgment. Both these points were against the religious and social view of Quraysh. By denying Akhirah, they denied their moral responsibility in this life. For many kuffar, it was more difficult to believe in the person of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an orphan and a poor person. They believed Allah should have chosen his prophet from among the rich and powerful chiefs of Makkah or Taif. The Quran speaks about the objection of the kuffar. It is mentioned in Surah Surah number 43, ayat number 31. If only this Quran was revealed to some great man of the two towns. They didn't understand that prophethood is Allah's choice, and Islam does not recognize anyone's birthrights or status because of his color, race, social origin, or wealth. Some of them had strange ideas about prophethood. They thought prophet should not be a human being, or that he should descend from heaven with a host of angels. The prophet, they thought, should perform miracles instead of teaching good things. They were familiar with some of the stories of miracles of prophets in the past. Therefore, many kuffar demanded. And the kuffar say, we shall not believe in you till you cause a spring to come forth out of earth, or until you haul a garden of palm and wine, and you cause in the middle of it a river to come out, or until you cause the heavens to fall upon us as pieces as you have told us, or you produce God and angels ascending, or until you have a house decorated with gold, or you ascend into heaven. Nor we shall believe in your ascent, unless you bring down to us a writing which may read. These ayats are mentioned in Surah Al-Isra, ayat number 90 to 93. Now the Quran replied to all these demands in the same surah, that is ayat number 17, ayat number 17 to 93, ayat number 93. Okay. Now the Quran replied to all these demands in the most simple way. Say, O Muhammad, to the kuffar, glorified be my Lord, I am but a human messenger. Allah did not send Rasulullah as a wonder worker, but as a moral teacher. Though Rasulullah performed many miracles, the emphasis of the Quran is on his teachings. In replying so much absurd claims, Allah asked Rasulullah to tell the kuffar.